I'd like to talk a little bit about what natural law is and isn't. First off, natural law needs no definition. It needs no explanation. I shouldn't even have to make this video. Natural law is something, it's about right or wrong. The way I like to explain natural law is it is based on the laws of nature. The laws of nature such as, nature, including the laws of physics, like gravity, biology, genetics, the laws of nature. But natural law is more like the natural law between man and man. Humans interacting with humans, how we treat each other. Right and wrong, morality, which we're all born with. We all intuitively know and innately know. Natural law is innate. It needs no definition. It is not written on paper. It needs no handbook. It needs no rule book. It needs no legislation, someone proclaiming what it is. Natural law is observed. Like the laws of nature, like the laws of physics or whatever, law of gravity. We don't know what causes gravity, really. We don't really know what electricity is, but we do know that there are certain laws of nature. It's about observation. Laws of nature are. A lot of scientists used to just be called naturalists because they observed the laws of nature, like Isaac Newton and things like that. Those were people who observed nature. It's observing and trying to learn it and understand it, identify what the laws are, but can't come up and make the laws themselves. Same thing with natural law. Some people want to, out of zealotry, or because they have their own agenda or their own ego, they want to try to tell you what natural law is beyond the fact that natural law is within you. I don't have to tell you what is right or wrong. You know harming another person or their belongings is wrong. No one has ever needed that on a tablets of stone or legislation, statist government to proclaim it, kings to issue edicts, parliaments or congresses or senates to declare, or city or county councils, mayors or councilmen to tell you what is right or wrong. Natural law is innate and it needs no further explanation. Natural law is not a theological law. I used to be a Christian anarchist and now I'm just an anarchist. I dropped my theological beliefs, but I knew even as a Christian I still had my theological rules, regulations, statutes, and ordinances that I chose to go by because I believed that was a way to please a deity. I no longer believe in needing to please a deity or obey a deity, as I see God now more as not some deity or personality that I need to please or obey or fear, but rather God is the greater universe and consciousness itself, and that all of nature, all of the universe, all of the solar system, all of what's going on here on the earth as far as nature goes and things like that is created with greater intelligence. I do believe in a superior intelligence. I believe it's simply nature itself, the universe. The whole quantum physics thing, metaphysics thing, you can look into that if you don't know what those things are. But natural law needs no legislation. It doesn't need to be written down. It doesn't need to be even explained. Even as a child, you knew what was right or wrong. And if you decided to just not care and steal the other kid's toys or be mean to the other kid or whatever, that kid or someone would take care of that and bring to attention. It's just like if you have a little puppy or a kitten, if the kitten is clawing you, like, I don't know if you can see on my hand here, I've been playing with a kitten, but I'm willingly playing with the kitten. But if the cat gets too rough with somebody or a dog gets a little rough, you may have to remind it, hey, stop. But even a dog or a cat understands you can't just go around and willy-nilly just bully and harm other creatures. So natural law, but natural law again is how humans interact with each other, and it's natural. It doesn't need to be written down, just like nature doesn't need anyone to legislate or put in stone what it's supposed to do. It just does. We also know it's when man tries to interfere and tries to codify law, including some natural law activists. Now, natural law is also not about sheriffs. It's not about community sheriffs. That's common law stuff, and I've already done a video explaining how natural law and common law are not the same thing. Now, you can have man-made legal systems or policies he calls law, but they're not law because man can't make law. Only God or nature can make law. Man can make policy or rules to the game. He can make corporate policy, and his governments, whether it's your local county government, city government, municipal government, your state government, your federal government, even world government for that matter, they can come up with policies because they're corporations. So they can have rules for what goes on in the property that they claim to have, right? But in the end, only nature has law, and all we can do is observe it and identify it and try to follow through with it. Also, you cannot break the laws of nature or natural law for that matter. You can't break it. You can only go against it and it'll break you because it has the law of cause and effect. There's these laws that we have identified. For me, the metaphysical hermetic 7 principles, I call them laws to me, like cause and effect and rhythm and polarity and things like that. To me, those are identified laws. But man doesn't even write those laws. He may write down what he observes, but in the end, natural law is natural law. It's kind of like going out in nature and observing nature and observing how it works, the insects, the animals, the bugs, the bees, the flowers, the trees, all these things, and observing the weather and things like that, and observing nature and, wondering at it and trying to fall in line with it. But in the end, natural law is not about anything but man, how he treats one another. Now, some people will think, well, eating animals is a violation of natural law, and that's absurd. Animals eat other animals. So if we want to extend natural law to animals, then those laws, then a cat eating a mouse or a tiger eating an animal or whatever, then it is violating natural law and it's immoral. No. Natural law is about morality. Now, it does overlap or deal with the laws of nature. As in, to me, it's unnatural to want to harm another human being who's innocent or take their things, because it's very uncivilized for our organism called man, the higher animal, if you will, the biological part of us, the physical part. I do believe man is a spirit, and we use these physical vessels, and then when these physical vessels and these physical brains die and rot in the grave or are incinerated or whatever and turned into ashes, these bodies, we still exist. You don't still exist as, like, my name is Ryan, and in this incarnation I am Ryan. But when Ryan's body dies, the true self, my true spirit, my true expression of the all or God or the universe or the greater spirit, universal spirit, will continue on and take on another incarnation into another body, whether in this plane of existence or another. That's what I believe. But as far as trying to add onto natural law, like I have said in a previous video, I am a big fan of Lysander Spooner, the American anarchist in the 1800s, and his writing, of course, his writing about the Constitution of no authority, but also his writing on natural law and calling it a science. It is a science. It's an observation. We observe what is right or wrong. We know not to slander one another and cause each other problems. Bearing false witness, as the Bible calls it, is to lie against another person. But you can lie about yourself, your privacy, you can lie to cover yourself. But in the end, are you lying to deceive and manipulate someone? To try to use your mouth to manipulate someone is no different than trying to use your hands to manipulate someone. I don't have to tell you that. You already fucking know that. Natural law is something you know. It's something even a person who has a low IQ can understand. Adult people, Down syndrome folks and things like that, they understand it. They're very loving folks. It's something we can learn from. Some of the sweetest and most innocent people in the world may not be real super intellectual and things like that, but they know right or wrong, which proves that natural law is innate in with us, and it comes along in our genes, in our genetics. Natural law is not something to be codified, legislated, or for anything like that. It's simply for you to observe and to notice yourself. Just like as if you went out into the nature and you were observing the ants or observing the birds or observing the river flowing or anything like that. You're simply observing it. It's a flow. It's a beautiful flow of how humans interact with one another. That's what natural law is. No one needs to write a bunch of books trying to or lists or anything trying to tell anyone else what natural law is. We all know what's moral and immoral, right or wrong. Now, I do believe that morality and right or wrong has to fall into the laws of nature as it is, like I've said, the survival of the human organism. If we go and steal and hurt and harm one another and do these type of things, it's actually, again, it's like a species like tigers or deer or a school of fish or whatever, they start attacking one another, then that's unnatural, right? It's like when your body starts attacking itself, like an autoimmune disease or something. And I believe that autoimmune diseases are very unnatural and created. It's a modern affair in my belief. I believe that for the most part, autoimmune system diseases of the body, where the body attacks itself, is very unnatural. But it's also like when we harm one another out here in society, we're creating a type of disorder. You want to talk about anarchy being chaos. Anarchy is not chaos. Chaos is chaos. And it creates chaos when we do crimes against one another. It's an autoimmune system type thing where we harm one another. You should be free to live your life as you wish. If you believe in, some people think that astrology is unnatural, or tarot cards, or any of that occult stuff, or that the different religions and religious practices and things like that are unnatural or something like that. No, people need to live a life as they so wish and as they believe, as long as they're not harming another person. People want to argue with each other about the shape of the earth, whether it's flat, round, square, a donut, whatever. In the end, your beliefs are yours, and we're here to explore, to find how we connect with God, our Maker, the universe. How we fit into things. But as long as how we treat each other is kind and civilized, that's all natural law is. Don't fuck with other people, and don't fuck with their stuff. Keep your hands off their body, keep your hands off of their stuff, and don't try to deceive them, manipulate them, con them. Don't try to cause them problems by bearing false witness to other people about them, things like that. It's simply the law of civility that man doesn't write. We can only identify and fall in line with, but it's all within us. The Bible talks about how the law of God is written on your hearts. The moral law, that natural law, which is moral law, is written on your heart, the fleshy tables of your heart. And you can have a heart of stone and ignore it, but the fact is, that's all natural law is. It is beauty, it is harmony, it is flow. And no one needs to tell you what's right or wrong. You already know what it is. And you know how to behave and be civil. And if you don't know, if it don't come from love, it's not natural law. Have a good day.